Coach, looking at any of these pictures from the '76 team, the state championship team, anything jump at you? Any memories?
Well, definitely, and then especially sitting here with these guys, all the more. But looking at the uniforms, they'd be arrested now for a little short.
Yeah.
Their shorts are like up to here.
But there's some good individual shots of all starters here, too.
Yeah, maybe pass that to Steve. And what do you think, Steve?
I think the last 2 inches I grew were 45 pounds apiece. It's like, wow, am I skinny?
Who are those games? Sometimes it's 1 or 2 games that they took those photos. Is Falcons? Is that Armstrong?
Armstrong, yeah.
Armstrong?
Looks like most of them are from Armstrong.
That's usually it, they come one time.
Right.
I think we got pictures of touching the rim back then.
Yeah, right, right.
Steve, that was during your salad days.
Those are memories.
And the striped pants.
Those are the Indians. Who was the Indians?
That'd be Burnsville.
Yeah, that's
Burnsville.
what they were called back then.
They were the Indians.
It's the Braves. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then they went to the Braves, and then they're the Blaze, right?
Blaze, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's crazy. What's
No, weren't they always the Braves? Yeah, there says on the jersey they're Braves.
Who are the Indians?
That Shakopee used to be the Indians.
Shakopee, Southwest. They were.
Somebody who played.
Hey, I'll ask you guys. So Steve, Al Hutchinson, your teammate, what did he mean to the team?
Clutch shooter, probably one of the quicker guys. Didn't matter if the guy was 6'8" that he covered. Balls battling. Knew who to pass to.
Did you have a quota?
Yeah, right. He had a quota. I need 2 passes a game at least. No, just a great all-around player. Had some really good hops for somebody 6'3", above the rim.
Thanks, Lane. Appreciate that.
Al, Steve Lingenfelter.
I mean, Laney was the man. I think you could sum up Laney in the fourth quarter of the Hibbing game. We needed him to come through, and that's why literally every time I got the ball, I got it into him. I still think that Ling is probably one of the most underrated big men the state of Minnesota has ever produced. I would have liked to have seen him. I don't know if this is politically correct to say this on camera, but I would have liked to have seen him have gotten a better shot when he was at the U, because I think Ling would have been every bit as successful, at least in college, as McHale was. Could shoot for a big man, was quick, very unselfish basketball player, and it was fun. It was fun playing with him.
Steve, how about Coach Evans?
Loved him. When I look back on our practices, he got us into shape without us actually knowing it. All our drills were sprinting up and down, we're full court pressing, everything. I think the most killers we ever ran was maybe 1 or 2 at the end of practice. Didn't force us to fit a system. He came up with a system to fit who he had. You can look at our 74, 75, and 75 and 76. Totally different teams. He just was able to adapt to who he had as players, got the best out of us. I just enjoyed playing for him.
Al?
I think you could say that Mr. Evans was a player's coach, but yet could be stern and had to be a disciplinarian when he had to be. Again, like I said, the calming influence, he never panicked in the huddle, and that came off on us. It was fun to play for Mr. Evans. He let us, he let us do our thing, like Ling said. I mean, if we might have run our offense, but if we started to freelance, he'd let us do it. And the biggest thing is from the standpoint of working on defense, because I found out once I played small college basketball, not like these guys, but that's really how, if you want to go to the next level of any kind, you got to be able to play defense. And we worked on defense probably as hard as anything in practice, wouldn't you say?
All right, guys. So we're spending a lot of time on the '76 championship team. What's your, in an undefeated season, state championship season, what's your fondest memory of that season, of the 1976 season? Fondest memory?
You on first, Coach?
Well, I think probably achieving a state championship. I mean, that's the epitome of coaching, is to take a group and take them as far as you can and hopefully ends up winning a state championship. And breaking that down, you look at the team, you're very proud, very happy for each and every one of those kids, because you don't tell them that, but you think, you hope that they know that, because you're just as proud for them as you are of yourself of winning that. But it's something that at that time there was only one a year. Now there's two or whatever,
4.
4.
Yeah.
And it's something to cherish and to look back. And like I say, the memories you have with, and the relationship that you make with other people, and it's important.
Steve, fondest memory of a great
Well,
season?
Clearly it's the state championship game. Just the memories I have from that, and I'll be running into people that actually are old enough to actually have seen that game.
Right.
They'll come up to me and say, "Oh, I saw you play in '76," and I look at them, and sometimes they look too young, because I forget how old I am. Outside of that, I'd say during the season, I think kicking Robbinsdale's butt was probably my favorite game, because when I saw that shot go in the state tournament when I was a junior, and I looked up and the clock was at zeros, I made up my mind that we were not losing to Robbinsdale the next year. Just to go into their place and just handle them.
Did you beat them twice that season or just one
We only
time?
played them once
Okay.
At their
at
place.
their place.
But that game, we played very well, and Hib Hill, who I always enjoyed, respected, one of the top 3 coaches that Jake and I always felt we really had to be prepared for. We played Robbinsdale. But there was, I don't know if you guys remember or not, but there was maybe about 30 seconds to go before the game. We're going to win, no doubt about it. Hib came down and he said, "You got a bunch of bandits up there in the bleachers." He said, "No, I'm afraid what might happen." He said, since the game's over. So he said, "Why don't you get your kids out of into the locker room?"
Yeah.
In the last years. I always respected that.
I remember after the game, we had our locker room doors locked.
Yeah.
And the guys were banging on our, I mean, it was like we needed a police escort to get out of there. It was that heated.
And that was regular season.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Fondest memory from 76?
It's got to be winning the state championship and being in the locker room after the game and just thinking that we finally, everything we had talked about for a year had come to fruition. And, you know, we weren't like jumping up and down and going crazy. It was just a quiet satisfaction. Everybody's hugging each other. And this is like, wow, can you believe it? We're state champion? It was that by far.
And then I remember Kevin McHale coming in the locker
Yeah.
room, just a classy thing, and congratulating
Yeah,
everyone.
he'd
Really?
been crying.
Yeah.
His eyes were all red, and yeah, he came in and
Just a class guy.
yeah, he did. Lingy, he individually would come up and one by one, Hutch, Lingy, Bratz, and shook our hand because we knew, you know, through summer leagues and stuff, we all kind of knew each other. But he was very cool after that
What
game.
bothers me is that they talk about that game and they mention McHale. They don't mention Link.
Right.
Now, that's all we remember. Of course, his career went on the Celtics and so forth. But, you know, I look back and I was glad they had Link rather than McHale. That's why I love him.
Isn't it satisfying, you guys, winning a state championship and you're doing it with your buddies, the
Yeah.
kids you grew up with? I mean, just saying that, I got goosebumps because that, to me, that's the soul of high school sports, not just basketball, is winning or losing with your friends from the neighborhood. Isn't that
Oh, totally. All those hours you spend out in the driveway with your
playing 3-on-3 in the Lingenfelter driveway?
Yep.
I wonder,
Backyard, YMC.
I wonder if these, I wondered this an awful lot, and whether, I always will, I guess, whether the team like Hopkins, some of them, do they enjoy a state championship? You know, I asked one time, I asked Novak, where do you hold your banquet after you meet halfway or someplace? And would you?
Yeah.
He didn't like it. I had to say,
Was that senior or junior? Was that senior or junior?
Senior or junior?
Junior.
Bonnie.